And Sister Janki, well, I know peace is very close to your heart. So, would you like to share your thoughts and feelings?
Thank you. It's a privilege and an honor to be here in this chamber with my distinguished sisters and to meet all of you. I'd like to begin with this expression, Om Shanti. And I think some of you know it, but maybe your interpretation of it might be a little bit different. And my understanding of this is Om, I am. It's an introduction of the self. And Shanti, peace. And so it's a very beautiful greeting that we use, but it's also literally an introduction of who I am.
My own understanding and my own illustration of peace is this. I was born into a Sikh family. I grew up predominantly in a very white-orientated environment. And I married into a Hindu family. All of those posed a lot of challenges because individual relationships need you to work differently. And that's just a microscopic view of what the world is outside. So our world outside needs us to adjust what we envisage our role should be. And my political role I see as being a negotiator, being able to facilitate environments in which people can come together, but also to empower.
Like Sandeep, I came from India here. When you leave your country, come to a new country, your life itself is a challenge because you have to find your roots, find your ways. In India, I was born in Ludhiana in a Christian medical college. When I was young, for 2 years, I went to a Catholic school. Then I went to a Jain school, which has played a great role in my life, what peace is. And it's very easy to be peaceful in good times, but it's very difficult to be peaceful in challenges. But I found challenges make us strong, they make us tolerant, we have more understanding of life, and it develops your belief, your faith. To me, faith is not something you wear today and take it out at night and put it on again. It's 24/7 with you.
I'm going to give you a political analogy, and the reason for that is this, because I did it recently for an interview. If at question time you behave like bad children, then how do you expect the outside world to behave? And I think it comes back to that. If we expect others to behave good to us, we've got to be able to behave good to them first.
And in a world in which it seems as if values have disappeared, what happened to truth, what happened to integrity and honesty and loyalty? You know, we're really struggling with these things now. And so we're beginning to recognize that peace and its connection with all these other values is something that we need to look at. And first and foremost, rather than looking out there, looking inside. And I can see that this whole subject of values is really coming back into fashion, and people are now wanting to have a life based on values once again. So I see a future of great hope. I see that people are interested not only in peace, but all the associated values. And yes, I think it's possible as we come together to create a world of peace.
To me, life is wonderful. I don't have anything against anybody. If somebody hurts me, then I say, God, you are the judge, I'm not the judge, because I don't want to disturb my peace. And as a chair and a member of Council of Faith, it has given me really great understanding of all the faiths and non-faiths. What they teach us is humanity. And I'm very proud that members of Council of Faith are here, our former chair. So my body has become a board of peace, and I want to spread that peace to everybody and take it around. In peace, to me, whether somebody is rich or don't have money, that's not my standard. To me, the person who is peaceful, when meets me, gives me smile, we exchange smile, we exchange love, we exchange non-violence. We stand for a minute and share each other's thoughts, help each other. To me, always help ever, hurt never. And I'll end on this. Raise your words, not your voice. Flowers need water, not thunder. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
मैं जब भी विदेश में चाहे भारत में कहीं भी जाती हूँ ना तो एमपी से नहीं बोलते शांति ओम शांति व्हीलचेयर वाले भी कहेंगे ओम शांति.
This concept of Om Shanti has spread many places across the world, and even people who wheel Dadi's wheelchair, they say to her, Om Shanti.
अच्छा कितना टाइम बोलना है?
20 minutes.
20 मिनट. अच्छा
Dadi's asking, how long do I have?
मैं 3 बार इसलिए बोलती हूँ.
I said 20 minutes.
अंदर मैं कौन हूँ ये अंगुली है ना. आज मुझे सुनते सुनते ख्याल आया कंटिन्यू कम से कम 3 दिन या ये सबको सुनाओ तो ताकि शांति गले का हार बन जावे.
The first Om Shanti I say is related to the awareness of the self and the inner being of peace. And hearing all the speakers tonight, Dadi had a thought. It would be wonderful if we had 3 sessions to talk about these things so that truly everybody can experience peace as the garland around their neck.
मैं कौन पर मेरा कौन.
And so the first is peace related to the self, who am I? And secondly, who is it I belong to? Who is mine?
मेरा कौन.
Who is mine?
भगवान मेरे में है ये नहीं कहेंगे. मेरा भगवान बाप है.
Not God within me, but yet God, my parent, my father.
God father है मेरा. भगवान बाप है मेरा.
God, my parent.
मैं कहेंगे मैं बाप हूँ. No, मैं बच्चा हूँ.
The child of God.
तो मेरा जब बर्थडे मना रहे हो ना तो मैं खुश होती हूँ. मैं सदा ही समझा मैं भगवान का बच्चा हूँ. बच्ची भी नहीं हूँ, बच्चा हूँ.
January the 1st is the day we celebrate Dadi's birthday, and when Dadi came to London on Monday, we had a celebration for
बच्चा
her,
बनने से
and she was telling us that I'm not 98 years old, I'm a child of God.
5 बातें नेचुरल हमारे अंदर में है, वो प्रैक्टिकल भी है.
And in that awareness of being a child of God, very naturally there are 5 qualities that one is able to experience.
मैं कोई ऐसे भाषण नहीं कर रही हूँ, पर जो प्रैक्टिकल बात है बता रही हूँ.
I'm not giving a lecture, but I'm sharing with you my practical experience.
प्लीज आप सब सुनना, सब ध्यान यहाँ देना और कई बात बुद्धि नहीं ले जाना.
For just a few minutes, let your thoughts focused here so that there's no distraction of the world out there.
क्योंकि मैं कौन, मेरा कौन, तो कुदरती में नेचुरली मुझे क्या करने का है.
That awareness of who am I and who I belong to and who is mine. And then thirdly, what is it I have to do?
कुदरती नियम है, जो उसका जो बच्चा होगा ना, फिर बाप जैसे होगे.
It's nature that a child will have the same features as the parent.
फर्क होगा.
Usually it's the same.
वो करके इंडियन होगा या वो होगा तो भी मिक्स हो जाएगा पिक्चर.
And when it's an Indian and another race, then you see the mixed features.
तुम्हारा मिक्सचर नहीं है, जैसा वो है ना, दुख हरता शांति दाता, वैसा बच्चा भी ऐसा है ना.
And so, as is my father, my parent, so the child. My father is the remover of sorrow, the bestower of peace, and so I, the child, have to be the same.
मेरे को 40 साल हो गया विदेश सेवा में, 74 में आई हूँ. अब मैथ्यू को यहाँ देखे, छोटा सा था. मैथ्यू की माँ यहाँ बैठी है, नहीं बैठी है. वंडरफुल. कितने बेटे माँ को शांति है, प्यार है.
I came to England 40 years ago to share these ideas, and I'm seeing Matthew, a young person who's been meditating for 10 years, and I know his mother also. Dadi was asking whether Matthew's mother was in the gathering, and I don't think she is. But she was saying how mother and son both meditate and have a lovely relationship.
लिस्टर सेंटर को 42 साल हो गया है.
And the centre in Leicester started about the same time in 74.
क्या कर रहा है? शांत रहना, सब कारोबार में भी रहना, अपना घर भी संभालना, काम धंधा भी करना, पर शांति में.
So to stay peaceful and to continue with everything that needs to happen, to stay in your family, to continue with your work, to do all the things that are involved in the work, but yet to maintain that inner peace.
मैंने देखा है, अनुभव भी है. प्यूरिटी है ना संकल्प में, तो पीस है.
What I've seen in my experience is that when there's purity in my thoughts, then there's peace.
अति शुद्ध संकल्प.
So thoughts that are very clean.
संकल्प में तो दिल बड़ी सच्ची अच्छी फीलिंग वाली है.
Then the heart is very honest and there's a very good feeling in the heart.
भगवान का शुक्रिया मानते हैं.
And there's a lot of gratitude for what God has
इतनी
given.
शांति दी है, मैं शांति को ऐसे वायुमंडल में फैलाऊं.
And then there's a deep desire to share the peace that God has given so that we share peace in the whole atmosphere.
मैं सिर्फ शांति की मैसेंजर नहीं हूँ.
I'm not only a messenger of peace,
अब मैं समय से देने के लिए यहाँ बैठी नहीं हूँ.
I'm not here just to give a message.
हर एक रियलाइज करे शांति कहाँ है.
But I would like everyone to realize, where is peace?
एक सेकंड कहाँ है.
Reflect on it. Where is it?
मैं अंदर है.
It's inside.
पर नहीं है तो उसे माइट ले लो.
And if there isn't peace inside, let me connect with God, so I take that might, that power.
अपन को मैं आत्मा हूँ, परमात्मा का बच्चा हूँ, तो शक्ति आ जाती है.
In that awareness that I'm that spiritual being, a soul, a child of the Supreme, I'm able to receive power from the
Practically.
Supreme.
शांत रहने की शक्ति है. और सुनो सुनो, शांति रहने की शक्ति है, परंतु शक्ति से, शांति से शक्ति मिलती है.
I need power to remain peaceful, but peace is also itself a power.
समझा सभी ने. शांत रहने से शक्ति मिलती है.
By remaining peaceful, I receive power.
और शांत रहने में शक्ति, पर शक्ति सर्वशक्तिवान से शक्ति ऐसी मिलती, सदा ही शांत रह सकते हैं.
And we can take such power from the Almighty Authority that we're able to maintain peace at all times.
पर परमात्मा मेरा फीलिंग है, रियली है, कोई ऐसे ही बस शब्दों वाली बात नहीं है. मेरा माता है, मेरा पिता है, मेरा शिक्षक है, मेरा सखा है, मेरा सतगुरु है. ये धीरे धीरे बोलो, फीलिंग में आवे सारा.
A real feeling that I have, so it's not just words, but truly the feeling is of the personal relationship with the Supreme as my mother, my father, my teacher, my friend.
कितनी शांति आ गई.
And as we experience this, there is peace.
हमारा जो कंपनी ऑफ गॉड का बुक है ना, और भाषाओं में छपा है, जिस दिन लिखा बैठ के पूछा मैं क्या लिखूं, मैंने कहा वो तो मेरे उसके कंपनी में सीखी हूं ना.
There was a compilation of Dadi's classes put together by someone many years ago, and she said to Dadi, what should I write? What should be the title? And Dadi said to her, well, the things that I share are the things that I've experienced in God's company. And so the book came to be called Companion of God.
मैं सभी ध्यान से सुनना, पर विचार भी करना, प्रैक्टिकल है या नहीं, सभी हर एक समझे. बोलो.
As you hear, reflect on these things and just try and see how to make sense of all this.
मेरी माता है ना, सिर्फ पीस पर लव आ जाता है उसका.
When I think of God as my mother, not only is there peace, but there's a great deal of love.
प्यार वो उसका इतना मिलता है, जो सारी शक्ति आ गई है प्यार की.
So much love that one can feel the power of love.
मेरा बाप है.
My father.
सदा नशा रखो किसके.
Always have that awareness of who my parent is.
भूल नहीं सकते हो.
How can we forget?
कि वो सर्वशक्तिवान में क्यों मैं, मेरे में ये कमजोरी है.
My father is the Almighty Authority, and so how can I then say I have this weakness?
उसके गुण धारण करने की शक्ति काम कर रही है.
As I imbibe those qualities of the Supreme within myself, that power begins to work.
फिर जयंती और हमारा वार्तालाप चलता है. किसी का अवगुण देखना क्या होता है, मैं नहीं जानता.
And today we were having a little exchange about an email that had come to Dadi, and she was saying that I don't know what it is to see anyone's defects.
बहन ये चर्चा चलती है ना, सब में गुण है, सब में विशेषता है, एक एक गुण, दूसरी विशेषता, तीसरी खूबी.
Each one has virtues and specialities and talents, and so it's important to be able to see these.
गुण है सच्चा रहना, मीठा रहना.
Virtues such as sweetness and honesty,
बोलना ऐसा तो सबके दिल में प्यार पैदा हो जाए भगवान के लिए.
to be able to share in such a way that others are able to allow the feeling of God's love to emerge.
एक बात भारत में ये अच्छी बात है, जो वहाँ कहेंगे गॉड अल्लाह, तो भारत में कहेंगे भगवान है, मना भागी बनाना सिखाता है.
The different names of God in all the different religions have different significance, and one particular name in India, Bhagwan, means the bestower of fortune.
परम पिता है, परमात्मा है, पर तुम कर्म ऐसे करो तो अनेकों का भाग्य बनाने में साथ दो.
He is the supreme parent, the supreme father, the supreme soul, and he teaches us to do such actions that we create our fortune but also can inspire others to create their fortune.
जब आप मिलियन मिनट्स की बात सुना रही थी तो मुझे कोऑपरेशन की याद आ गई. जब वो प्रोग्राम चल रहा था मिलियन मिनट्स का, पहले कहा मैंने कहा मैं जितना चाहेंगे उतना मिनट्स देंगी.
When I was talking about the Million Minutes of Peace appeal, of course, Dadi was very much part of that, and she said to us, okay, tell me, how many minutes do you want from me? I'll give you as many minutes as you want.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में छोटे से बच्चे की राय निकली.
This title, Million Minutes of Peace, was a very catchy one, and it came from a 19-year-old who was sitting in a traffic jam in Sydney.
शांत रहना, शांति फैलाना.
To stay peaceful and share peace.
प्रोजेक्ट 6 महीने मतलब बहुत अच्छा लगा.
The preparations for the project were about 6 months, so that he was asking how long did the project last. It was about 6 months.
अमेरिका में मैं गई थी खास ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट. Wonderful. But what is next?
That he had gone for the closing ceremony in New York for this, and then the UN asked us, well, what is next?
तो ये सब जगह cooperation.
And so our next topic, our next international project was around the theme of cooperation.
Cooperation शब्द की मैं कहती हूँ क्या मीनिंग सुनाऊँ शब्द की. संयोग की कमाल है.
When there's cooperation, there are wonders.
ये परमजीत क्या था, मुझे कभी पैदा हुआ कभी बड़ा हुआ, संयोग से हुआ है ना. ये सब संयोग से बैठे हैं ना.
You saw Paramjit handle the program, and yes, he found the path to meditation, and it's through the power of cooperation that any program happens.
उसी कोऑपरेशन लंदन में ग्लोबल कोऑपरेशन हाउस बन गया.
And with everyone's cooperation, the house that we have in London is called Global Cooperation House.
भारत में ग्लोबल हॉस्पिटल बन गई.
And in India at that time, there was a hospital created, the Global Hospital.
अफ्रीका में म्यूजियम बन गया नैरोबी में.
And in Nairobi at the same time, there was a museum that was created.
किसने बनाया?
How did it all happen?
मुख्य बात है शांति, प्रेम और संयोग की शक्ति.
When there's peace, there's love and cooperation.
फिर ये प्रोजेक्ट जब ये what is next?
Then again, there was a question after that project, what is next?
फिर living values.
And we took up the theme of all the values living values.
32 values है.
Daddy made a list of 32 values.
वो लिस्ट मैंने पूछा इनको कुछ गिफ्ट देनी है तो ये लिविंग वैल्यूज कितने वैल्यूज है. वैल्यू शब्द क्यों आता है? जब गुण लाइफ में आते हैं ना, माई लाइफ वैल्यूबल है.
Values are a gift, and when we have values in our life, then our life becomes valuable.
सारी विश्व सेवा में लिविंग वैल्यूज सब वो कितना मुश्किल न सिखा दिया.
When we live our values, when there are living values, then there's a smile across the world.
पहले मुख्य 3 शक्तियां आ जाती है वैल्यूज को धारण करने के लिए.
As we imbibe values, there are 3 powers we develop.
है तो 8 शक्ति पर पहले 3 तो आ जावे.
In fact, you can look at a list of 8 powers, but 3 are immediately important.
तो जीवन की वैल्यू का पता चले.
And these enable us to see the value of our own life.
समय का पता चले.
We are able to recognize the value
ये
of
समय
time.
है अपने जीवन जैसे मैं यात्रा पर हूँ.
Our lives are valuable, time is valuable, we are on a journey.
यात्रा पर बहुतता यात्रा पर हूँ, डिटैच हूँ.
When I'm on a pilgrimage, then I'm detached from other things and I follow the path of purity.
ईगो अटैचमेंट से फ्री.
To be free from ego and attachment.
फीलिंग है ना यात्रा पर हूँ.
The feeling of being on a pilgrimage.
जैसे चल उड़ जा रहे पंछी, ये देश क्या है?
It's like a flying bird being able to go up above.
लड़ाई झगड़ा झूठ हिंसा.
What's going on in this world today? Fighting, quarreling, falsehood, violence.
कहीं को पता ही भी नहीं है स्पिरिचुअलिटी क्या है.
And so many don't even understand what is spirituality.
मेरे कोई कहेंगे तो हिंदू हो, कोई कहे मुसलमान हो, नहीं. क्रिश्चियन हो, नहीं. क्या हो? मैं कौन हूँ? मेरा धर्म क्या है?
People say, are you a Hindu? No. Are you a Muslim? No. Are you a Christian? No. So what is my religion?
बात वासी समझ के नमस्ते करते हैं. अच्छा, तो मैं क्या करती हूँ? ईस्ट एंड वेस्ट बनेंगे बेस्ट.
People in Bharat put their hands together and I put out my hand, and when East and West come together, then we can be the best.
योग माना कनेक्शन, रिलेशन, कम्युनिकेशन एक साथ है.
Yoga means communication, connection, relationship with the One.
परमात्मा से रिलेशन हो तो ये बताएं भगवान है, पर वो जो सिखा देता है, समझा नहीं देता है ना, वंडरफुल है.
When we connect with that One, we understand the teachings that God gives us, and God's teachings are wonderful.
ऐसा टीचर कभी नहीं देखा. मैंने वेद शास्त्र पढ़े थे, तीर्थ यात्रा की थी, पर ये जो शिक्षा समझाई देता है ना, ब्रह्मा के द्वारा देता है, दिया है.
I had studied the scriptures, been on many pilgrimages, but the knowledge that I heard being spoken through Brahma Baba really showed me the path of truth.
तो शांति है जिसमें सच्चाई है.
When there's honesty, there's peace.
तो 3 शक्तियां माना, एक धीरज है.
So the 3 powers that are essential at this moment are patience.
मैंने देखा है चारों जो बैठे थे ना, अच्छा सच बोल रहे, अच्छा बोल रहे थे, धीरे से बोल रहे थे.
All the 4 people I was listening to were speaking with patience, with honesty, with peace.
कोई डिबेट नहीं कर रहे थे.
It wasn't a debate of aggression.
पर अपना विचारधारा दे रहे थे।
but they each one shared their thoughts.
धीरज जरूरी है।
Patience is essential.
ज़माने अनुसार सहन शक्ति,
According to the present conditions of the world, the power of tolerance.
मनुष्य को दुख क्यों होता है? बच्चा ये करता है, फलाना ये करता है, काम पर ये करता है, सारा दिन ये करता है, अशांति हो जाती है।
We get upset with people doing this, that or the other, and we become peaceless.
प्रेजेंट समय हजारों तो क्या लाखों के साथ कंडीशन है।
At the present time, my work involves working with hundreds of thousands.
पहले हम 200-250 थे, 300 थे।
When we started, it was a community of around 300.
जब पाकिस्तान से इंडिया आए, फिर हजारों हुए।
When we moved from Karachi, Pakistan to India, it then became
अभी
hundreds,
लाखों हो गए हैं।
and then thousands, and now it's hundreds of thousands.
पूछो शांति है? शांति है?
And each one would say, yes, there is peace.
Don't worry, no problem. ताली बजाओ ना, don't worry, no problem. तो सहन शक्ति बहुत अच्छी है।
So the power of tolerance is very
मेरे से सहन
important.
नहीं, शरीर को कुछ हुआ, संबंध में कुछ हुआ, धन का कुछ हुआ, तन मन धन संबंध कुछ हुआ, तो सहन शक्ति नहीं है मेरे में।
Things happen to the body, things happen to our mind, things happen to our state of wealth, things happen in relationships, and then we say, I can't tolerate this.
तीसरा है सदा संतुष्ट।
So the first power, patience, the second, tolerance, and the third, to be content.
मैं तो संतुष्ट हूँ, कुछ नहीं चाहिए।
Not to want anything, no desires,
5
to
पाउंड
be
भी नहीं है, 5
content.
रुपए भी नहीं है, पर मैं संतुष्ट हूँ।
I don't have 5 pounds or 5 rupees, but I'm content.
तो एक रूम आ रहा था।
I have a hanky,
सफेद कपड़े जेब खाली है।
white clothes and empty pockets.
किसी ने कहा अभी किराया बहुत बढ़ गया है प्लेन का। मैंने कहा हाँ बढ़ गया है। कहा तो मैंने कहा कितना बढ़ा है? कहा मेरी कंपनी मुझे देती है। मैंने कहा मुझे कंपनी दे दी, मैं कंपनी मुझे देती है, मुझे पता तो नहीं टिकट का।
Somebody said to me, the price of travel has increased so much now. And I said, well, how much? And they said, well, I'm not sure, my company pays. And I said, my company pays for me too.
तो जैसे 3 शक्तियाँ बताई ना, धीरज, संतुष्ट, सहनशीलता, सहन शक्ति और संतुष्ट रहने की शक्ति, ऐसे 3 और शक्ति चाहिए।
So 3 powers, the power to be patient, the power to have tolerance, and the power to be content. And then there's
कभी
more.
भी अशांत नहीं होंगे।
Have these powers and you'll never lose your peace.
अशांति दुख का नाम निशान खत्म।
In fact, these powers remove not just peacelessness, but also sorrow.
सच्चाई और अहिंसा परम धर्म है मेरा।
Honesty and non-violence are the highest aspects of
ये धर्म
righteousness.
मंजूर है, सच्चाई और अहिंसा सबका ये धर्म है।
Is this everyone's religion? Honesty and non-violence?
हाथ उठाओ।
Raise your hands.
सच्चाई और अहिंसा।
Honesty and
तो अंदर
non-violence.
आगे मैं क्रिश्चियन से डरती थी, मुसलमानों से डरती थी। मुसलमान पता नहीं क्या करेगा, क्रिश्चियन मुझे कन्वर्ट कर देगा। छोटी जब थी, अभी किसी डरती नहीं हो।
Dadi's talking about her days of childhood, so this would have been in the 1920s, long time ago. So at that time, I was scared of Muslims and I was scared of Christians. I might be converted, But today I'm not scared of anyone.
निर्भय है,
Fearless,
निर्वैर.
without animosity.
अभी तो मेरे साथ ट्रैवलिंग करने में कोई बहन चलती है, पहले अकेले के जाती थी. जापान में अकेली गई थी, जापान अकेले में, हांगकांग अकेली गई थी.
Nowadays, I usually have someone travel with me, but for many years, I traveled on my
पहले
own,
अमेरिका अकेली गई थी.
traveling to America, Japan, Hong Kong.
इंडिया से लंदन कितना बार अकेले आई होंगी.
So often from India to London.
इसमें 3 बातें हैं. मैं अपना इंसान, अपना शत्रु आप है, अपना मित्र आप है.
I know that a human being can be one's own best friend, but also one's own worst enemy.
समझते हैं. अगर मुझे दुख शांति आई तो कोई मेरा शत्रु नहीं है, मैं अपना शत्रु हूँ.
If I'm feeling peaceless and unhappy, it's not somebody else who's created this for me, but I've become my own
बहुत
enemy.
अच्छा है. कभी भी मैं अपना शत्रु बनूं, मैं दुख क्यों करूं.
Why should I allow myself to have sorrow?
किसी ने पूछा मेडिटेशन क्या है, न दुख लेना न देना.
What is meditation? Neither to take sorrow nor to give sorrow.
दुख और शांति भाई बहन है ना.
Sorrow and peacelessness are brother and sister.
उसका सुख शांति.
And so to change that into happiness and peace.
सुख है भाई, शांति है बहन.
Happiness is the brother, peace is the sister.
तो उसमें क्या है, पूरा नहीं ठहरो, बाकी एक ही बचा है. अभी मेरे में हिम्मत अच्छी है, तो उसमें परमात्मा की मदद बहुत है.
My experience is that because I've always had courage, I've felt God's help reaching me.
कभी नहीं होगा, ये क्या हुआ, कैसे होगा, कब होगा, कौन करेगा, कहाँ इस भाषा में.
I've never had these thoughts. How will it happen? Who's going to do it? What's going to happen?
वंडरफुल परमात्मा बाप है, जो करता खुद है, पर कराता कोई से निमित्त है.
God is wonderful because He does things, but He makes someone an instrument through whom He works.
जो कुछ कोई करता है ना, उसका भाग्य बन जाता है.
And whoever becomes an instrument creates their fortune.
तो परमात्मा सत्य है, इसलिए मेरी सच्ची दिल पर वो मेरे से सदा राजी रहता है.
God is the truth, and if I keep an honest heart, He is pleased.
तो आप सब राजी हो ना.
Are all of you content?
वो राजी है.
If I stay content, He is content.
वो राजी है.
He is
तो कहते
content.
हैं तुम मेरे से कोई पूछे तू राजी हो, क्वेश्चन है ये.
If people ask me, are you content? Is that a question?
नाराज हो ना मना, खुशी का लास्ट.
If I become displeased, discontent, my happiness goes.
एक है सुख खुशी, दूसरा है सुख अभी आनंद.
So not just peace and happiness, but bliss.
सत्य चित्त आनंद.
When there's truth, then the consciousness is filled with bliss.
ओके. मन है शांत, बुद्धि है शुद्ध.
When the mind is peaceful, then the
बड़ी बात
intellect
नहीं
is
है.
clean.
ऑटोमेटिक संस्कार काम करते हैं अच्छे.
Then the good qualities within the self begin to work.
तो उनको 3 लेसन तो कैसे भी सबको 3 दिन दो, कुछ भी करो.
So,
परमजीत कहाँ गया?
so that you would really love it if there were 3 sessions here.
एक दिन आत्मा का, दूसरे परमात्मा का, तीसरे दिन कर्मों का.
The awareness of the self, the awareness of the divine, and the awareness of karma.
तो लिस्टर से ही वाइब्रेशन सारे विश्व में जाएगा.
The vibrations of peace will reach out from Leicester to the whole
शांति
world.
का बाहर से नहीं मिलेंगी, अंदर से मिलेंगी, वहाँ से मिलेंगी.
Peace is within and comes from up above.
एक दो से है.
And then there's peace together.
शांति और प्रेम.
Peace and love.
Purity, peace, love, happiness, power.
Purity, peace, love, happiness, power.
Okay.
These qualities are together.
Okay. अच्छा 2 मिनट साइलेंस कराएंगे.
Let's have a couple of minutes of silence.
साइलेंस और पीस में क्या फर्क है?
What's the difference between silence and peace?
पीस टाकी में आना, फिर एक साइलेंस में चले जाना, अंदर जाना, अंतर्मुखी हो जाना, अंदर चले जाना.
So one is the world of talking, and then to go into silence, to go within. If I may, I'd like to share a few thoughts to guide us into silence, so we move in the same direction. Reflecting on the things that I've been hearing about, I come to the awareness of peace. Peace in my own mind, peaceful thoughts, thoughts about the inner being, and the awareness of who I truly am. And as my thoughts slow down, and I begin to taste the sweetness of peace, I can connect with the divine. Connecting with the Supreme, the being of light, from the ocean of peace. Peace reaches the world, and peace touches all the souls of my human family, so that souls begin to feel peace in their hearts. Peace reaches out and touches the elements of nature. Peace touches all forms of life. And from the being who is the being of truth and love, as the vibrations of truth reach out, I let go of falsehood and allow that truth to awaken the truth within myself. With peace and truth, I also discover God, the ocean of love. And the power of love cleans the soul. And I'm able to let go of the sorrow of the past, God's light radiates out into the world so that the darkness ends and the day begins. I hold this awareness of peace and come back to the things here and now. Keeping this peace with myself. Om Shanti.